On so many topics there. We will, of course, bring you all the updates on the new era of South Korean politics following, of course, some political chaos. But we move on now, and the US is doubling tariffs on most imported steel and aluminium starting today as part of President Trump's efforts to pressure trading partners to present better trade offers. This escalation follows Trump's executive order to raise tariffs from 25% to 50%, with the new rates taking effect at midnight. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett explained that while the initial 25% tariff provided some support to the US steel industry, a higher rate was necessary to strengthen domestic production. The increase applies to all trading partners except the United Kingdom, which maintains a 25% tariff during a 90-day trade pause until at least July the 9th. About a quarter of US steel is imported, with Canada and Mexico as the top suppliers. Canada also leads US aluminium imports, making it the most affected by the new tariffs. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's office confirmed intensive negotiations are underway to remove these tariffs. This tariff move comes amid broader global trade tensions, including China's restrictions on rare earth minerals, which have raised concerns among automakers and industry analysts about supply chain distributions across automotive, aerospace, tech and defence sectors. In response, President Trump is also preparing to invoke the Defence Production Act to remove legal and funding barriers, aiming to boost US production of critical minerals and weapons to strengthen national security. Moving on now, and in a latest update, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has said that US proposals for a nuclear agreement went against the country's national interests and the principles of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Khamenei said Iran would not wait for approval from Washington or any other power to make decisions, stressing the importance of independence from foreign influence. Meanwhile, earlier Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian had echoed the same sentiment in a televised speech, declaring that Iran would not bow to US pressure to dismantle its nuclear program. Moving on, Lai Ching-te, the president of Taiwan, marked the 36th anniversary of the Tianan Square crackdown by honouring the courage of those who protested for democracy in 1989. He stressed that human rights are a universal value shared by democracies around the world, and not just a part of history to be remembered, but a principle to be upheld daily. Lai criticised authoritarian regimes for trying to erase history, saying that democratic societies choose to preserve the truth and honour those who sacrificed for freedom. He also reiterated Taiwan's commitment to these core values, despite Beijing's opposition to his leadership. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio commemorated the bravery of the Chinese people who lost their lives during the crackdown and those who continue to seek justice for the events of June 4th, 1989. He pointed out that while the Chinese Communist Party seeks to censor and suppress the truth, the world will never forget the sacrifices made in the pursuit of fundamental freedoms. Heading back to North America now, Elon Musk is shaking up Washington, slamming President Trump's new tax and spending bill as a disgusting abomination. Musk took to social media to call out the bill's massive price tag and pork barrel spending, claiming it will deepen America's $36 trillion debt. The House passed the bill by just one vote last month. Now it heads to the Senate, controlled by Republicans, where deep divisions still remain. Fiscal conservatives are backing Musk's concerns, demanding changes to reduce deficits. Trump, however, is pushing for passage by July the 4th, calling it his one big beautiful bill. The bill extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts, boosts defense and border spending, and could add over $3.8 trillion to debt. Business tax breaks are also on the table, but senators may delay those to win support. Musk's comments test his political clout, coming just days after he left his role in Trump's government. The White House and Republican leaders insist they're moving forward, but the Senate math remains tight. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dismissed Elon Musk's sharp criticism of Trump's massive spending bill, saying it doesn't change the president's stance. Leavitt reaffirmed Trump's commitment to the legislation, calling it a big, beautiful bill, despite Musk labelling it as a disgusting abomination. Staying in America, 2 Chinese nationals have been arrested in the United States for allegedly smuggling a dangerous agricultural pathogen into the country. 33-year-old Young King Jian and 34-year-old Zhenyong Liu are now facing serious federal charges, including conspiracy, smuggling, visa fraud and making false statements. The FBI confirmed the arrests, with Director Kash Patel stating the pathogen in question is a biological threat. Authorities say the pair illegally brought in Fusarium graminearum, a fungus that causes head blight, a disease that devastates crops like wheat, rice and maize. Prosecutors warn that the smuggling of such a pathogen into a US research facility by foreign nationals is a grave threat to both national security and global food security. Staying in the US, and the family of an Egyptian national accused of attacking a pro-Israel rally in Colorado have been taken into federal custody. Officials say Mohammed Sabri Solomon, who allegedly threw lit Molotov cocktails at demonstrators in Boulder, Colorado, was in the country illegally, having overstayed a tourist visa and expired work permit. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the family's detention would allow for quick deportation, adding that investigators are looking into whether they had any knowledge or involvement in the attack. Solomon's family includes 2 teenagers and 3 younger children. Authorities say they've been cooperative so far. The attack, which injured a dozen people, many elderly, is believed to be an isolated act. Solomon claims he used gas bombs because his immigration status prevented him from purchasing firearms. Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko in Beijing today, as both leaders vowed to deepen what they called their all-weather partnership. According to China's media, Xi congratulated Lukashenko on his recent re-election, which extended his rule to over 3 decades. In his remarks, Xi said China and Belarus are true friends and good partners, and expressed the commitment to promote the long-term development of bilateral ties and mutually beneficial cooperation. He also emphasised that both countries should jointly oppose what he called hegemony and bullying, while working to uphold international fairness and justice. Lukashenko's visit marks his first to the Chinese capital since securing victory in January's election, and comes amid efforts to expand strategic coordination between the 2 nations. Well, that's all we have time for, but we will continue to bring